Right, everybody, welcome at our sparkling conversation for this week. If you can just make sure that you mute your microphone, and then I'm going to hand over to Marihet, Hammann, who's going to be our speaker for today.
Thank you, Raylene. Before I start, can you just make me co-host quickly, please? Thank you. So good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having an absolutely blessed day today. Our topic for today is values. And when I sat with the topic, I thought we all have heard that there's the top 5 values. That is so important to know what you value in life, because why? So my question started with a lot of questions. Why is values important? So as you know, values is important because it actually drives our decisions. It adds meaning to our life, and it also creates connection and belonging with like-minded people that share our values. Yet an interesting thing happened. In my conversations with some of my clients, I noticed that very few people are able to spontaneously share what they value, and also how to put it into their own words. So the aim for today is to have a process that you can go and practice one value at a time, from your thought to your actual value. And I'm going to share a quote with you, and I'm sure all of you have seen this quote before. And the quote reads as follows: your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits, and your habits become your values. And the last part is your values becomes your destiny. So with that, I want to share with you, I'm going to leave the quote up for a few seconds more, and then I'm going to take it down. I want to share with you that you don't have values. You actually live your values. So if you read this quote and you ponder about the meaning behind these words, you will realize that it is about you living and becoming the things that you value in your life. I'm going to stop the share. And the second question then becomes, so how do I start living my values? And I'm going to invite you to think of one value that you hold. Now, in my case, the top value that I have is creativity. And when I'm going to use examples so that you can see what I mean when we go through the process, I'm going to use creativity as the example. So think of one value. Can be your top value or one value that you want to go through the process with today with me. So how do we start living that value? So how do I start living creatively? Or how do I live creativity? And the first invitation is you start having and developing a vocabulary around your value. So if you think of creativity, there's a certain vocabulary that you will use around the value of creativity that will be quite unique. So in my case, I love the phrase that I came up with, and it actually links to 3 of my values, but you will find the creativity in it just now, which is kindness is my currency, color is my storyteller, and creativity is my natural language. So I found some vocabulary and words that brings my values to life. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you can ask yourself is, so what are the words that you want others to say about you? So if you leave the room, do you want them to say you are creative? Because that's your value? Or do you want people to say, I am innovative? Because innovation and creativity are actually vocabulary that do live together as well. So first one, develop your own vocabulary and words around your value. Second one, what are the words that you want people to say about you? So I would love people to say that I am creative and unique and so forth, because there's other values that link to that one value. The third one is write down your unique thoughts about that value that you have. The example that I gave you of creativity is my natural language, that's a thought, a unique thought that I had around my value of creativity. So write those down so that you can become aware of what's the thinking and your own unique words that you link to your value. The fourth thing is, think of the words, the messages, as well as the phrases that you want to put out consistently into this world. So in other words, if I say that, if I say that creativity is my natural language, and that is the consistent message and phrase that I'm going to use. Next week, I'm not going to say creativity is actually quite interesting, which could be a different thought, but it's not consistently saying the same thing. Then, when you are on the spot and someone asks you about your value, can you refer to it? Will you be able to say what that value means to you? That unique definition and the unique thinking around those. And then practice your mindset, in other words, your thoughts, to believe that value. And I'm going to take you through a process just now. So in summary, there's 6 things you can do. 1, develop your own vocabulary for that value. 2, what words do you want people to say about you? 3, write down your own unique thoughts about that specific value. 4, think of the message, phrase, and words that you want to put out consistently around that value. 5, when you're on the spot and people ask you about your creativity, for instance, if it's me, are you able to refer to it with grace and with confidence? 6, practice your mindset so that your thoughts believe what you saying about this value. Now, how do we change our mindset around the belief? There's a beautiful way that you can actually gauge where your mindset is at the moment. And you can listen to the words that you use when you take that value, and I'm going to use creative as my value. You always start with, I deserve to be creative. That's the first statement you're going to say to your mind. I deserve to be creative. Then, I want to be creative. Then you go to, I can be creative. Then you go to, I will be creative. And lastly, you end with, I am creative. And I'm going to run through the mindset process again for you. I deserve to be ... So fill in your one value that you are using today. So in my case, I'm going to just put in creative. I deserve to be creative. I want to be ... Put your own value in. In my case, I want to be creative. Thirdly, I can be ... In my case, I can be creative. Then I will be creative. And lastly, I am creative. So, in summary, how do we start living and behaving our values? We practice the words and it becomes I am. And I'm going to leave you with 2 thoughts, maybe to go and do some homework on. What activities can you do and grow so that it becomes a habit around your values? And if I think of creativity, one of the habits that I do is every single morning, I actually use my art journal and I plan my day creatively. That's a habit that is non-negotiable, that affirms my value for me. Because remember, your thought or your words become your thoughts becomes your actions, and the actions become habits, and the habits becomes the values. All right. So what activities can you habitually do to support that value so that it becomes natural? The last one, I think, is very important as well. How are you setting up your life and your business environment to be conducive to support that habit? So if I'm creative, my art material is now under my computer. I had to come up with a plan to lift my computer. But if it wasn't there, I would have showed you my environment is set up conveniently that I have or let me quickly pull it out so that you can see. I have my art kit conveniently with me, next to me at the computer. And what's in the art kit, it's going to look messy because I can't keep it neat while pushing it forward. So filled in here is all the tools that I need to support my value. And then as I showed you already, I do that inside my art journal. Each one of you have your beautiful values. Make sure that you use the words and you practice the I am, that you actually have habitual actions and things that you do to support that value. And lastly, that you've set up your environment, whether it's at home or in your life or at work, that you can actually do these habits often and that you can express it. Right. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm honoring the time. And I'm going to leave you with a question, and I'm just going to put up the quote again for you. And if you don't mind sharing, I would love to see either in the comments, in the chat, or if you don't mind unmuting yourself, just saying, what's your one big aha that you had around values, about living your values today? So while you
I'm going to end off while you're thinking, and then we can go on. Then we'll stop the recording. Thank you, everybody, for being here at our Sparking Conversation today. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and share this recording.